Tullus Hostilius was dead. If you saw my previous video on Rome, you would know why, so please, check it out. Anyways, the Senate decided to elect Ancus Marcius, the grandson of Numa, to the throne. Like his grandfather before him, Ancus Marcius focused on religion first. He ordered that religion issues in Rome shouldn't be overlooked anymore. Then, like Romulus, Ancus Marcius prepared to fight. The Latins, who we've talked about before, and will continue to talk about them for a while, entered Roman territory. With the war now justified, Ancus Marcius declared war. He first captured the town of Politorium, resettling the Latins to Rome. After more Latins moved into the deserted town, Ancus Marcius destroyed the city. He then destroyed 2 other cities for good measure. Then he reached Medulia. He was eventually able to break into the city and steal its wealth. Later, Ancus Marcius would expand Roman territory to the sea and founded the port city of Ostia. Ancus Marcius would also start a great tradition for Rome: architecture. He built a bridge across the Tiber, he built a prison, and last, but certainly not least, he built one of the first Roman aqueducts in history. If you took Romulus and Numa and then blended them together, you'd get Ancus Marcius. Ancus Marcius then died in 617 BC, ruling for over 20 years. Instead of Ancus Marcius' son succeeding him, however, someone else took the throne. Tarquinius Priscus sent Ancus Marcius' sons away from Rome, and then Priscus won support of the people. Soon, Tarquinius Priscus was crowned king, and he started the Tarquin dynasty. It should be noted that Tarquinius was not Roman. He was from the Etruscan city of Tarquini, which makes him a barbarian. If you thought Numa was the barbarian here, well, Tarquinius was the real barbarian. You know, being Etruscan and all. Anyways, Tarquinius expanded the size of the Senate, but he wasn't only going to expand the Senate. He saw the barbarians that surrounded Rome, and despite being a barbarian himself, he would conquer the neighboring barbarians. The Latins had again attacked Roman territory, so he waged war against the Latins. Needing help, the Latins called on the Sabines and the Etruscans. Unfortunately for the Latins, Tarquinius vanquished them before reinforcements could arrive. Then, he attacked the Sabines. To defeat them, he set boats on fire and then sent them down the river to the Sabine camp. It worked, apparently, as the Sabines tried to put out the fire before eventually being captured by Tarquinius. Then, the Sabines launched another invasion of Rome, but it didn't work. In the resulting treaty, the Sabines surrendered to land. Later, Latins would also concede and give Rome some new cities. Now, Tarquinius focused on Etruria, his homeland. Fidenae was soon captured by the Etruscans, but eventually Tarquinius won the war and took more land for Rome. Tarquinius would become the first Roman to ever celebrate a military triumph, and he certainly wouldn't be the last. Anyways, remember the sons of Ancus Marcius? Yeah, well, they wanted Tarquinius Priscus dead, so they could get the throne back. While they did kill Tarquinius, the queen, Tanaquil, managed to get Servius Tullius on the throne. Ancus' sons once again lost the throne. Servius Tullius was the second ruler of the Tarquin dynasty and the first Roman king to not be elected by the Senate. He may also have been a slave. Now, let's get the most important thing out of the way. Servius Tullius, although mythical, allegedly built the Servian walls that protect Rome for over 800 years. They would be the primary defense for Rome until the crisis of the 3rd century. Way later in the series. It's going to be a while before we get there. When the Emperor Aurelian built the Aurelian Walls. Servius also warred against Veii and won. He instituted many more monumental reforms in Rome. He initiated the first Roman census. He also began minting coins in Rome. He greatly influenced religion, building temples and throwing festivals all around Rome. Oh, also, around this time the Latin League came into existence. But Servius Tullius wouldn't last forever. Servius married his daughter, Tullia the Elder, to Lucius Tarquinius, and his other daughter, Tullia the Younger, to Aulus Tarquinius. Tullia the Younger killed her sister, while Lucius did the same to his brother, and then they married each other. Then Lucius Tarquinius went to the Senate and insulted the hell out of Servius Tullius. When Servius Tullius arrived at the Senate to tell Tarquinius to STFU, Tarquinius threw him down the steps of the Senate building, and Servius was killed by Tarquinius' men. Then Tully ran over his dead corpse with a chariot. Absolutely barbaric. You ready for some pain? Well, here we go. After killing Servius Tullius, Lucius Tarquinius became the 7th king of Rome, and the last king of Rome. He became known as Tarquinius Superbus, or Tarquin the Proud. We're already off to a great start when Superbus murders a bunch of senators because he thought they were loyal to Servius. He then refused to replace the seats of the Senate and completely ignored the Senate's power. He was ruling like an absolute monarch, something Romans would despise for the rest of their existence, despite being a monarchy for most of their existence. He literally just killed people without other advice. Then, Superbus held a meeting between the Latins. There, a Latin was just pissed at Superbus, so Superbus told a slave to hide swords in the man's house. When he told everyone that the Latin was going to assassinate him, he used the hidden swords as proof and executed the barbarian. Then, he united the Latin and Roman army. Then, Superbus warred against the Volsci, which was another barbarian horde in Italy. He then crushed the Latin city that dissented against Rome. Thank God that this man's reign was about to end. Like Romulus, Numa, Hostilius, Ancus Marcius, and Servius Tullius were all cool, but this guy, he just sucks. Surprise, surprise. The Romans were pissed off at their tyrannical, authoritarian, barbarian, evil, despicable, corrupt, totalitarian, Etruscan dumpster fire of a king. The year was 509 BC. A very famous one, in fact. The Persian Achaemenid Empire has just formed. The Carthaginians are expanding their new empire. Democracy is about to take hold in Athens. And finally, the Roman Republic was about to rise. At this time, Tarquinius Superbus campaigned against some barbarians. Superbus also had a son named Sextus. Sextus was disgusting. He raped the wife of his frickin' cousin, specifically Lucretia, the wife of Collatinus. After failing to seduce her, he threatened her life, which failed. Then he threatened not only humiliating her, but also tarnishing the reputation of Collatinus. Not wishing for that, Lucretia conceded to the rape that would end the Roman kingdom. Sextus, after committing the crime, left. Lucretia immediately told Collatinus and the other soldiers of the crime, and then killed herself. Collatinus, Publius Valerius, later Publicola, and Lucius Junius Brutus, no, not the one you're thinking about, he was actually a descendant of the later Brutus, you know, that Brutus. And they all teamed up to get rid of Superbus. They told everyone of the king's wrongdoings and the rape of Lucretia. A mob formed as a result, and the king lost power in Rome. Superbus' family was forced to flee, and Sextus was killed. With the Tarquin dynasty over, and the Tarquins gone, what was next? A republic. The Roman Republic formed in 509 BC after driving out Lucius Tarquinius Superbus. Alright, let's get this over with. 2 consuls were elected that replaced king. The first 2 consuls were Brutus and Collatinus. A consul was the highest political office in the Roman Republic. Of course, there were 2 consuls at a time. They only served Rome for a year, and an ex-consul had to wait 10 years before they could receive consulship again. Yeah, that's gonna change in later episodes. But anyways, the only office that ever outranked the consuls was dictator. A dictator was rarely called upon, but a man would hold absolute authority over Rome for 6 months or until the crisis he was called for was resolved. After that, he would voluntarily surrender his power. I'm not going too in-depth on the government of the Republic for now, but I will cover it in a future video in like April or something, so stay tuned. But anyways, when Superbus heard of the revolution, he immediately abandoned his wars and set off to Rome. Veii and Tarquini also sent troops to aid Superbus. Meanwhile, Brutus betrayed Collatinus, almost like a certain Brutus to a certain Caesar. Don't worry, we'll get to that eventually. And Brutus forced him to resign from the consulship because Collatinus technically was a Tarquin. He was involved in the revolution, but whatever. Anyways, Spurius Lucretius replaced Collatinus. Surprise, surprise, Superbus wanted his throne back. He tried to start a conspiracy in Rome to get people to join the king. Brutus's own sons were in this conspiracy. Although brutal, Brutus did the brutal punishment and executed his sons for treason. Now, all of the tyranny and all of the revolution has led to the Battle of Silva Arsia, and the Republic won, solidifying its independence at the cost of Brutus's life. Unfortunately, the struggle for the Roman Republic wasn't over yet. Tarquinius Superbus, after losing at Silva Arsia, decided to find some more Etruscans to help him out. He just so went to the king of Clusium, Lars Porsena. Lars Porsena seemed to have been interested because a massive Etruscan army marched to Rome. The Senate, preparing for the battle and the siege, gathered food. However, the humongous Etruscan army was already here. The Romans attempted to fight it off, and at first they succeeded in pushing back the Etruscan left, but were eventually forced to retreat. As the Etruscans moved to a bridge to cross the Tiber, a brave, insane, and patriotic man named Publius Horatius blocked them. He held off the confused Etruscan army until the bridge was destroyed, and then he safely swam back, becoming an eternal hero of Rome. Lars Porsena then decided to lay siege to Rome. The Clusians blocked off the place to Rome and sent soldiers to raid the countryside. Meanwhile, a Roman soldier named Gaius Mucius tried to assassinate the Clusian king, but failed. Lars Porsena then arrested him, but Gaius said that more Romans would come, and that he was not afraid. Then, he took his hand and stuck it into an Etruscan fire. Creep the F out, Lars Porsena let him go back to Rome. Eventually, a treaty was made. Rome would lose some land to Veii, and the Clusians would get some hostages, but in return, the Etruscans would leave, and Superbus would not be restored to the throne, guaranteeing the Republic's survival. Lars Porsena still asked, but was never able to get Tarquinius Superbus back on the throne. In 507 BC, Lars Porsena kicked Superbus out of Clusium. Superbus would be back. And so, the kingdom Romulus built was now dead. The government of Romulus, Numa, Tullus Hostilius, Ancus Marcius, Tarquinius Priscus, Servius Tullius, and Tarquinius Superbus was gone. Now the Roman Republic takes its place, and will remain for nearly 500 years, until the times of Sulla, Caesar, and Augustus. Under the Republic, the majority of the Mediterranean Sea would fall to Rome. The Republic would become the strongest military power of its time, and would lead to the creation of the Roman Empire. But for now, the Republic rejoiced in victory. But soon, They'd be tested with wars with their neighbors, instability from the revolution, and their biggest threat yet, something worse than Veii, the Etruscans, the Latins, or even the return of the king. It would leave the Romans devastated, and all records of the past to be burnt. It would leave the Romans questioning about abandoning their own city of Rome. Soon, the Gauls would invade. Until next time.